We found through the monthly meetings, there was still something missing. Like they would ask questions and I wasn't comfortable enough answering it. And it's not that I couldn't have just thrown something out there to sound good. I just was realizing they needed a little bit more than just know your numbers. I mean, that's a really trite phrase we love to throw around, and it's still very true. You still need to know your numbers. And so where we're hoping to go next, so that's kind of where we've come from, what we're doing right now. We're really hard into those monthly meetings still. But our goal is to do grow your numbers meetings, which, cheesy as it is, it's easy to remember. Mm-hmm. And because it's still a monthly meeting, we want it to be separate in our client's mind or, prospective minds, where you've got the know your numbers that you're doing on a monthly, but then on a quarterly basis, we do grow your numbers. And what we're really striving for there is to build a framework that allows you to work within and to evaluate yourself within. And for that, Joey can kind of go into some of the metrics that we have followed so that we can know whether or not it's a good framework we're working with him.
Right. So in the grow your numbers meetings, we're basically, we found that there's three categories that make our clients have the peace of mind. And that would be, we break down the income statement into two sections. So we have your gross margin and then your net profit at the bottom. So we're calculating variable cost and what are called fixed cost. So in the month of April, we're talking about efficiency. Is my pricing correct? Just all the nitty gritty parts of your actual business model. And is it scalable? You don't want to repeat a business model that's not necessarily scalable, right? You don't want to just keep making the same mistake over and over again and compounding the problem into the future. So that's a lot of the things that we talk about, in the first meeting of this year. And then in July, we're going to go over and do an expense analysis, and we're going to go over each little line item, making sure that things aren't getting out of control. You're not just, the middle of your business isn't just getting fat with unnecessary costs. So we're kind of doing it's called an expense analysis. Anyway, in October, since we largely deal with lawn care, everybody's kind of going into hibernation mode come winter. So we do a winter preparedness where we go over, what's my break-even number? What can I plan for in the winter, and make sure that everything's going to be ship-shape come April when I'm ramping things back up. So that's kind of the three things that we're going over in terms of, deeper level analysis, instead of just like, here's your profit for the month. Now we're talking about more nitty-gritty things, but we can only do that if we have a year's worth of data.
Oftentimes we'll get a client, maybe winter, and they want to know if they're good business. Is like, oh, we don't know. It's winter time. We know this is not your typical season, if you will. And so that's what that first year is for. It's really for the education, that organization. And we use those two words very specifically because we need you to know and understand how your statements work, how they communicate, which you said, even after 4 years, you're really not slowly, but you're really starting to internalize it, I think would be the right word. So that, number one, you're asking better questions. Number two, if you do have a question, you often know which statement is going to help us be able to accurately problem solve that. Every single analysis meeting, they check in with their financial dashboard, which tells them, how's my gross profit metric? How's my debt metric?
We try and nail down on what true profitability means. And we talked about that in last podcast, but a lot of small businesses don't know their true profit. And so we try and bring that into the equation.
So that's the framework we're starting to build out, where then you can start evaluating yourself. Am I a good business or am I a bad business? You can't really evaluate yourself just because you have a profit number obviously that profit number needs some sort of comparison or some sort of benchmark.